I'm here in northern Arizona, just north of Flagstaff at the Sunset Crater volcano. That's the volcano right there. And to my right are the tallest peaks in Arizona. It is late May. Obviously you can still see some of the snow on the peaks there. And I came here to Flagstaff and to northern Arizona because somehow it's missed me. I spent a lot of my 20s road tripping and I've never been to Arizona, so it's been really awesome to be here. And I came up here specifically on Sunday to go to the Overland Expo West event. And I'll get into that in a second. But first I want to talk about Grandma Gatewood. If you're not familiar with Grandma Gatewood, look her up. She was a total savage. She was the first woman to hike the AT. She used a pair of like old beat up sneakers, and I think they're still on display in some sort of museum somewhere, probably. First woman to hike the AT, an elderly woman, of course, Grandma Gatewood. She had like a knapsack. I imagine it to be like a bandana on a stick with like, some beef jerky and peanuts, and she used an actual quilt, like a handmade literal quilt to keep herself warm at night. She probably ate squirrels, and she probably didn't drink any coffee. I don't know, maybe she like boiled squirrel's blood for caffeine or something like that. I'm making up a lot of this, if you can't tell, but yeah, look up Grandma Gatewood. I would Google it for you, but I don't have service here, it's like I'm back in time or something. Yeah, so I say all that because she's a prime example of what we used to do outdoors, just really, really roughing it. And then you go to the Overland Expo, and it is the prime example, the full display of the modern outdoor industry. And it's amazing. Like, there is an accessory for pooping. There's a pooping accessory for your pooping accessory. I mean, you can get a coffee mug for your coffee mug. Anything you can possibly think of, somebody has created some product that is extremely useful in one specific way. All with the purpose of what? Of getting outside and exploring and camping and overlanding, driving down rough roads to remote backcountry locations to then set up your sick skillet to cook some smash burgers, right? So it's just an interesting observation, I think. I am not at all, while I am a minimalist, I am not at all like anti-consumption. I mean, I drive a Tacoma. I have a $400 EcoFlow power station that I use to plug in my laptop to charge while I edit videos in the backcountry. I mean, I am a consumer just like the rest of us. I just find it really interesting the lengths we'll go to bring home outdoors, to bring the comforts of home outdoors, right? I think I like backpacking so much because there's some suffering involved. It's like sleeping under a tarp on the ground with a thin little piece of foam between you and the rocks underneath your butt. The meals are not gourmet. Even with my truck here, and this is going to just disgust so many people, but mostly what I eat is, I make oatmeal for breakfast, and then I make couscous and beans with some spices, or a secret, my new favorite, ramen and beans. Call it R&B.
My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes.
It looks absolutely disgusting, and it's probably insulting to half the world's population, because while I am a man of culture, I decided to blend Japanese ramen beans, which are so common in most Hispanic dishes, and my own Indian curry spice mix. That's your ramen and beans. Well, I don't have a video of that, I don't think, but I do have some pictures, so feast your eyes on the ramen and beans, and I'm sure your mouth is watering a little bit. My gourmet camping meals here out in Arizona. So, Overland Expo. What is it? Who is there? Basically every single outdoor company you can possibly imagine. Most of the vehicles you're going to see are Tacomas and Wranglers, Jeeps. There's some vans. You know, I think overlanding kind of has a crossover right now between, you know, a little bit of van life, a little bit of just weekend warrior camping. And then there's also a lot of people that live out of their vehicles, right? Full time. I'm living out of my truck right now for the next 4 months at least. But there's some people there for sure that have lived out of their cars for years. And so it makes sense they need a little bit more comforts of home because it is their home. Oh, and there's also another level to the vehicles you might see. And these are the cross-continental rigs. They are enormous. I mean, they, you know, looks like they could have driven out of the sea to storm the beaches of Normandy. Like, these things are monstrous, monstrous vehicles. And because I'm clueless, I was talking to a guy. I said, why would you need something like this to go drive down some rough trails? You know, wouldn't a Jeep do fine, or a pickup truck or something? And then it was explained to me that no, these are for crossing continents. These are for taking, you know, these are for driving down roads that are not roads, that driving over busted, broken concrete roads, former roads, I guess you could call them that, former roads, right? Where there might be a river or like multiple creeks that have then split amongst the concrete there. And oh God, I'm lost in the weeds, boys. Lost in the weeds. So I talked to some people at this expo, and one of the most interesting stories I found was Graeme and Louise. Graeme has written a couple books about their multi-year travels crossing continents. They drove their vehicle, their overlanding home from Argentina to Alaska, and on the back they have some Portuguese tiles with A to A, Argentina to Alaska. And they said that in Mexico people were so confused because they didn't know what A dos A meant, and they had to explain it to them. But they told me so many cool stories about like raising their boys on the road, or their kids. I don't know if they're all boys. Raising their kids on the road, having to use kindness and bubble gum to combat some greedy Mexican cops, the policia, wanting to get a little cash out of them. They give them bubble gum instead, with a smile on their face, and they let them go. How amazing is that? Yeah, and I'll throw in a clip of the many flags they have, country flags they have on the side of their rig. And if you look closely, some of the countries have a little number beside it, and that's the number of times they've driven through that country. So they have dozens of countries they've visited with the same vehicle, you know, transporting it all over the world. Probably almost every continent, if not every continent. I didn't get that on video because I interrupted their lunch to basically interview them. So I felt kind of rude pulling out my camera but you know, they're South African. They probably would have been cool with it. Those people seem to be pretty cool, pretty relaxing, pretty okay with talking with, you know, a little bit of crumbs in their mouth. I don't know about on camera, but what am I saying? So what else happened at the expo? I really enjoyed meeting some other YouTubers in the Overland community. While I'm not necessarily in that world completely, it was cool to meet Down to Mob. I think Brad from Sun Roamer Overland, Elevated Overland, you name it, like inter-channel name Overland. I feel like I met a lot of these folks rolling around on bikes and one wheels. But yeah, it was cool to ask them for a little bit of advice, you know, and they say, man, if you want to make it on YouTube, just keep on posting, make cool stuff, make good stuff. So while I have my biggest inspirations of Bo Miles and Peter Santinello and Mac and Owen from Bound for Nowhere, you know, it's cool to meet other people and kind of pick their brain a little bit. I saw so many dogs, y'all, like infinite number of dogs in this dusty parking lot in Flagstaff. Dogs in backpacks. Yeah, like that. I mean, there should be a booth at Overland Expo selling dogs in backpacks. Like I might have walked away with a little carry-on canine, had that been the case. This is Buttercup.
Buttercup is a 13-year-old Klee mix, and she is the Kokopelli shop dog. She runs the whole show over there.
Oh, the brains behind the operation.
Brains behind the operation, yes. Basically, might as well be signing my paycheck at this point.
This was not my first Overland Expo event. I went to one in 2022 in Loveland, Colorado, which is near Fort Collins. And that was a fun one. My friend Mason flew out to meet me from Knoxville. I was on a month-long road trip to Colorado, and I convinced him to fly out for the weekend, and we went backpacking and hiking in the Rockies, and then we swung through the Overland Expo, and we were both equally shocked by the number of unbelievable trucks and rigs and beefy vehicles that can look like they can crawl on the moon. Mason worked at REI, and he'll get a kick out of this. I met this guy the other day that he said, REI, you mean really expensive inventory? But, you know, I've got a lot of things from REI for pretty damn cheap, so I think it can go both ways there. They kind of have some high and low, right? And REI is kind of a clothing company, right? As well. It's like, I'm pretty sure they make most of their money off of the outdoor fashion industry. Much like the, was it athleisure? Somebody explained this word to me the other day, athleisure wear. Whatever happened to just wearing like a dirty t-shirt with like paint stains and shorts to the gym, like sweatpants, you know? Like everyone is like super hot at the gym now. It's crazy. I've yet to get into the athleisure wear game, but maybe that's next. Maybe we'll start a athleisure expo event, and we can have everybody, you know, lifting weights in like spandex tuxedos or something. I wonder what Grandma Gatewood would think about the Overland Expo and the outdoor industry of 2024. Do you think she would look at us with our pooping accessories and wonder how we became so pampered and soft as Charmin? I'm reading this book by Bo Miles. He is an Australian YouTuber, filmmaker, adventurer. He's one of my favorite people on the planet. The book is called Backyard Adventurer, and he talks about how when he was in his 20s, he spent 10 summers, I think it was in New York, at a camp for boys. He was a counselor there, and their slogan at the camp was "Camp with the Pioneer Spirit." So, you know, they had no service, no power, no cell phones, no screens, using wood for fire. It reminds me of when I was a kid growing up camping with my dad, and you know, we had a little tent and we cooked on the fire and we played in the creek. I cut my leg open falling out of a tree into a creek, and then all the little kids ran away screaming as like blood and bone were pouring out into this Tennessee creek, you know. It was pretty cool. I met this guy, Alex. He's Ukrainian, but he lives in Lisbon, Portugal now. And he's really big into overlanding and camping. And he has, I think he said he has a Jeep Wrangler. And I talked to him briefly. I'll throw that clip in here. This is Alex. Alex is from Ukraine.
Hello.
And he lives in Lisbon now. And he was just telling me about his Jeep that he takes all over the country of Portugal. Tell me a little bit about his adventures.
Yeah, so first of all, for me, this event is something incredible because I'm the only person in my bubble back home who is in this kind of things.
Oh, wow.
And it is very interesting for me to see that there is not only other people here, but entire industry about that. And
so what is it like being from Europe and now living in Portugal and then coming to the States and seeing ridiculous rigs like this? This is something that's probably on a much smaller scale in Europe, right?
Totally different culture, totally different scale. Of course, we don't have there such huge trucks. I mean, in terms of their capacity, in terms of their sizes, because they're literally like the roads are not suitable for that.
Yeah.
And the culture of the cars are totally different. So I love this, the way that people are building things here. They are so robust, they are so powerful, and the scales of the country, like, I'm just shocked.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Is this your first time in the States?
No, it's not. It's my fourth time.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
This is my first time specifically here because I went here exactly for this event.
Yep.
And it's my first time in Arizona.
Yep.
And it's my first time renting a camper van here as well. So
Okay.
a lot of first time things here.
Yeah, you couldn't bring your vehicle here.
No.
That would be a little too difficult.
Yeah,
huh?
but it's a Jeep Wrangler American vehicle that went from America to my home.
Oh, nice. Okay. Are you one of the few people and friends that you have that have a Jeep like that in Portugal?
I think literally the only one.
Yeah. That's cool, man. So what's your plans outside of the event here? Are you going to do some backcountry cruising around?
Yeah, I have some more days till the airplane. So after the event will finish, I want to go to the Monument Valley because it's an interesting story about that because from my childhood, my father, in my father's office, there was a picture of Monument Valley, and from my childhood, I was watching on that picture, and now I have an opportunity to see this thing on my own. So I'm very excited about that.
Well, and you can even take it a step further and take your own photos of Monument Valley.
Yes,
and then hang them up in your dad's office. Huh?
Exactly. By the way.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Good idea.
Oh, that's so cool, man. So tell me, have you been to an expo event like this before, or is this your first one?
No, it's my first time.
Is this just mind-blowing to you? What is your feeling about this?
Yeah, it is. So I did not even expect that amount of brands, that amount of people who are in that, and also I really enjoy how people are open here. I mean, you can come to anybody to speak with them. They will tell their story. They will show show their rig, show like how they have built it, why they've chosen this or that products. Very interesting.
What kind of outdoor sports do you like to do? Are you a hiker or a cyclist, or you do rafting or climbing?
I do mountain bikes.
Yep.
I do kayaking, and I walk a lot with my dogs.
2 dogs?
2 dogs. And 2 cats.
And 2 cats.
Yeah.
Have you got the cats to go hiking yet?
No.
Awesome. Alex, great to meet you, dude.
Great to meet you.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks.
I need to mention that I did not buy anything at this year's expo, nor the last one I went to. The only 2 I've been to. Well, besides food. I bought a lot of food. Sought out some local Flagstaff food trucks. Had some amazing tacos and tater tots. Also a great barbecue chicken sandwich. So while I did not custy up on outdoor equipment, I certainly custied up on some things to fill my belly, and that was a glorious time. Oh, and shout out to the Boy Scouts selling coffee and Gatorades and Diet Cokes, things like that. Support your local troops. My dad was an Eagle Scout. He would be proud of me for lending $1 to the outdoor community for kids. But hopefully, it was better than when I joined. I remember when I was a Cub Scout, we never went outside. We were in the classroom. We were stuck inside this little, like one of those annex trailer buildings that are at some elementary schools. And my dad yanked me out of it because he's like, this is lame. Why are we not taking these kids camping and hiking? And, you know, when he was that age, they went backpacking in New Mexico. He tells me a funny story about this one kid kept trying to run away and leave. And so they had to, when he finally broke away, another troop found him. And he was going crazy, poor kid. And they tied him up to a tree so he wouldn't run away again. I'm not making that up. They tied the kid to the tree. You know, and he probably looks back fondly on those memories, right? Taught him something to be, I don't know, stick with your group, man. They're looking out for you. So, okay, that concludes my ramblings about the super fun Overland Expo. There are 4 of these events every year. I think this year the ones left are in, well, maybe this Flagstaff was the first one. So there's one in Bend, Oregon. There's probably one in Colorado. And then the one out east is in Virginia. I think in October, in the fall. Somebody told me this was the biggest one yet, meaning the most visitors, the most vendors. I mean, it was a sea, y'all. It was a sea of outdoor products. I am not exaggerating when I say that you can get quite literally anything you can think of. I tried to film some of the more absurd items I could find, but I'm sure I did not do it justice. So many people are so inventive and creative. The outdoor industry now employs like thousands and thousands of people. So it's all pretty cool. But you know, sometimes also don't forget that it's okay to just like play with a stick in the mud in the yard. You know, like that old George Carlin joke, right? Whatever happened to the kids just playing with a stick in the mud in the yard? So, while I do like my cozy little pickup truck, sometimes I have to remind myself to just go sit in a pile of dirt and eat some ramen and beans, you know? It's good for the soul. Yeah, all right. Now I just will continue to hold my expensive camera equipment in the outdoors and just be a I'm on a 1-year trip, so if you want to follow along, subscribe to Logan Let's Go, and we'll see you in the next story. Maybe it's a solo story like this, or something that I did personally, or maybe it's a profile of somebody that's really unique and interesting and awesome and doing cool things that I've met on my travels. So stay tuned, subscribe, and keep on camping. Go visit a volcano. Go play with the ashes and the dust that's everywhere all over the ground. Go hike some of those molten lava rock. I don't really know what they're called, but geologists, plug it in the comments for me. My uninformed, ignorant self. Okay, goodbye. Okay, this is the coolest thing at this convention.
That's why it's dang, brother.
Dang, brother. Fire engine brick oven pizza maker. Is this version 1 for you?
In Salt Lake, yes. Out of Utah.
Very
we have,
cool.
Trucks down in San Diego. We have about 5 trucks in San Diego.
That are like this.
Yes. This is the best one.
Can I get a close-up shot here?
Oh yeah, get in there. We got that pizza coming out here in a second.
It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate you, dude.
Dang, brother.